Participants in sports share a mutual admiration. They enjoy watching others excel. Piloting is Art Scholl. Watching is A.J. Foyt, three-time Indianapolis 500 winner and a pilot himself. Scholl is an old friend of this program, and we recently saw him at the National Air Races in Reno. Today on Wide World of Sports, the scene is Riverside, California, site of the Rex Mays 300 Indianapolis Car Championship race. As a pre-race feature, the drivers and crowd are being treated to a demonstration of precision flying just a few feet over the track. Precision of execution is an important part of competition. On Wide World of Sports today, we'll be seeing precision driving at Riverside and the beauty and precision of the world figure skating champions from Vienna, Austria. Women's world champion Peggy Fleming of the United States, Emmerich Danzer of Austria, and dance champions Taylor and Ford of Great Britain are among the featured skaters. Jim McKay and Dick Button will be reporting. I'm Chris Economaki in the pits at Riverside International Raceway here in California. It's the last race on a long season for the USAC drivers in their Indianapolis cars. They've raced on the East Coast in Canada, and now they come to California, and it will be the first time in USAC history that the national championship has been decided on a road course. A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, and Gordon Johncock are the contenders for the title, and when it's all over today, one of them will be the champion. They've got some tough competition in the person of international aces, Jim Clark and John Surtees. Working with us today, a man who argued for road racing on the USAC circuit, two-time Indianapolis winner Roger Ward. You must be a satisfied man today, Roger.
Well, I certainly am, Chris. Actually, I feel this is the beginning of a new era in automobile racing, and I'm certainly excited about it.
And so is A.J. Foyt. He hopes to become the first man in racing history to win 5 national championships. And because the rules allow him to use a second car if necessary, he's here trying out Roger McCluskey's for a fit, which looks a little bit tight. He's leading in points and hopes that this will be his big day. Nearest challenger is Mario Andretti, pint-sized Italian immigrant from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, 5'4" and 138 pounds of dynamite behind the wheel. The third contender is Gordon Johncock, who drives a lumber truck when he's not racing, but he's way down in the standings. One of the favorite drivers among fans here, and for this race, is Dan Gurney, who started his competition here. And a lot of people are looking at former world champion Jim Clark of Scotland, too. John Surtees of England is another world champion who spices the field here today. There's some interesting automobiles. How about a word on them, Roger?
Well, actually, Chris, there are several different kinds of automobiles and a number of different engines. This is a 4-cam Ford engine that powers Bobby Unsch's car. Here's another one. And, of course, this is a normally aspirated 4-cylinder Offenhauser. This is a turbocharged Offenhauser, and this car should be something at a disadvantage today because every time he goes to shift gears, he'll lose blower pressure. This is the Gurney Westlake Ford that Dan Gurney will be driving. And, of course, this is an automobile that Surtees will be driving. You'll notice that it is offset. And, of course, this is a racetrack with many right turns. So this car should be at something of a disadvantage also.
The point situation is rather interesting, Roger, with Foyt leading, Andretti second, and Johncock third. How do you think Foyt is going to play it?
Well, I think Foyt will play a waiting game to see what happens. He has a backup car driven by Jim Hurtubise, which gives him a little security, and the real pressure has to be on Mario Andretti.
How do you think Mario will handle the situation?
Well, I believe he has to drive a flat-out race and hope that he has a little luck.
And the Johncock situation is interesting because he must win the race and have both of the others drop out before he can become the champion. And here's the course. And, Roger, for a driver schooled in oval track racing, it's different, isn't it?
It certainly is a very challenging course. And, of course, turn 1 that you're seeing there has been greatly improved and is extremely fast now. This is a very challenging course because it goes both up and downhill, and many of the turns are blind. Those are the S's and quite challenging. Towards turn 6, 180 degree that almost meets you coming back. Over a hill and down to turn 7, a pretty tight left-hander, then into a sweeping right-hander, and, of course, onto the back straightaway where speeds of almost 180 miles an hour will be attained. Down that straightaway to turn 9, a very fast right-hander, and, of course, back up towards the starting line.
And it's a fast track, with Dan Gurney posting the fastest speed of 117.735 miles an hour to win the pole. 30 cars will go the distance. It's 116 laps, 300 miles. The prize money, $78,000. And because of the distance, they're going to have to make a pit stop for fuel. We'll be back in a minute for the exciting start. concessions to the American way of road racing will be the rolling start. In Europe, it's a grid start. And the field of 30 is now behind the pace car with Dan Gurney and the Olsenite Eagle on the pole, flanked by Jim Clark of Scotland in the Spear X Special, one of Rollo Wallstedt's cars. Bobby Unser and John Surtees make up the second row, and A.J. Foyt in the Sheraton Thompson Special shares the third row with Mario Andretti in the Dean Van Line Special. Roger McCluskey is seventh in the G.C. Murphy Special, and Ronnie Bucknam is eighth in the Vitafresh Orange Juice Special. Gordon Johncock in his Gilmore Broadcasting Special, and Jerry Grant in the Friedkin Eagle make up the first 10 starters, all of them with Ford power out behind. Now, as they come off turn 9, down for the green flag, hopefully, the field is ready to get underway. There's the flag, and the race is on. Heading for that tricky turn 1, Gurney out-accelerates Clark and sets the pace going up the hill to turn 2. As the field sorts itself out, this is the testy part of the race, the first lap, sorting out after the start. Gurney leads out of 2, Clark right behind, as expected. Third place is Bobby Unser, and fourth is John Surtees. Through the S's. And now Gurney starts to pull away as he approaches turn 6. Clark about 2 lengths behind. One of the tough corners, Roger?
It certainly is. You go uphill and into a very tight right-hander.
Clark is putting the pressure on Gurney. He's not letting him pull away. Gurney's a big man for road racing. These cars weigh only 1,350 pounds, and there's Lloyd Ruby parked the wrong way. A tough break for Ruby. And now Clark takes a run on Gurney down the straightaway, but can't make it. And into turn 9. That's an awfully hard wall on the outside. It's lined with steel boilerplate.
Looks like he's going to make a move there, and in fact he is pulled almost even. But Gurney seems to out-accelerate him just a little bit as they approach turn 1.
Well, Gurney, who really knows this course, he's won 4 500-mile stock car races on this track and started racing here at Riverside. Now putting a little distance on Clark. Bobby Unser lies third in car number 6. Twisting back and forth. Notice on Clark's car, there's a piece of metal over the exhaust pipes. That's an improvised spoiler. And there, what happened to Unser, Roger?
Well, he probably went in that turn a little bit too hard, used a little bit too much brakes, and there's George Fulmer in trouble.
That's Clark's teammate who spun out. George is a former U.S. road racing champion who's trying the Indianapolis jobs this year.
Kept the car running and was able to get back on the course.
And now look at Roger McCluskey in car number 12 go by both Mario Andretti and John Surtees. What a ride. McCluskey, who drove the Can-Am Series this year, learned his lessons well, but Surtees isn't giving up.
Trying to pass him back on the outside, and of course that's a difficult way to do it.
McCluskey's really moving in that Eagle. That's one of the cars that A.J. Foyt tried out before the race, if he needs it. Dan Gurney still sets the pace in his Olsenite Eagle, and Clark right behind. Here, our third place man, Bobby Unser, starting to drop back a little bit now. Unser 7 times won the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. Here's McCluskey trying to pick up on the leaders. He's driving a G.C. Murphy Special.
Out of turn 9 toward the starting line, and there's McCluskey passing Bobby Unser as they approach turn 9.
McCluskey seems to have tremendous speed in this number 12 car, and he's handling it beautifully. Here's Palmer now, heading for the pits for a check after that excursion off course as McCluskey roars by. He's now third behind Gurney and Clark, with Unser back in 4th position. Bobby's been a little skittish so far today, and there he is off course again, and that's going to cost him a few precious seconds. Gurney leads, and we'll be back for more of this National Championship Indianapolis car race in just a moment. With Dan Gurney still leading Jim Clark by the narrowest of margins in this 300-mile contest. It's been a close battle for the lead. A lot of rain here has left a lake in the infield of turn 9. And Clark comes off that turn, still putting the pressure on the tall Costa Mesa, California driver. Now here's Mario Andretti being pursued by Bobby Unser, who lost 2 positions when he went off the road a bit ago. But now Unser's on the brakes too hard and almost runs into Andretti as he goes into the infield. Andretti and Surtees got by Unser. Here Jerry Grant goes by, dropping Unser to 6th place. Andretti now challenges Surtees. It's a close battle. A championship is at stake, and Mario wants to win it. He's going to have to move up because A.J. Foyt is still within striking distance behind him. extremely fast race. The speed's high. Gordon Johncock, one of the 3 drivers in contention for the national championship in the pits, obviously with trouble. And he's getting out of the car, which means whatever the trouble is, it's of a serious nature. A tough break for the little boy from Hastings, Michigan. And A.J. Foyt's pit crew signals that he's now in 7th position. Now, here's Johncock. A disappointingly short day for you, Gordon. What was the problem?
Something wrong with our shifting mechanism. We must have twisted off a shaft or something, but she won't shift at all.
Disappointed?
Yes, I am.
And there's Gurney off the road. What do you think happened, Roger?
Well, there's a little oil out there, Chris, and probably he was trying just a little too hard.
He got back on right away, though, and that, of course, gave Jim Clark the lead, and the fans are jumping now. Clark out in front, Gurney now in 2nd place, trying to play catch-up. Around the corner, the protagonists for the championship, Mario Andretti, number 1, A.J. Foyt, number 14, and Jerry Grant splitting the action there. Clark's car appears to be smoking, and Gurney is going back into the lead. Oh, what an automobile race we've got here at Riverside today. Gurney off the road, out of the lead, and then Clark having mechanical trouble putting Gurney back into the number 1 position. Tough break for both, but more tough for Jim Clark. And it looks like oil down there, Roger.
Well, there certainly is. Some of that could be coming from Jimmy's car, but there was some there before.
And here the men fighting for the title. A.J. Foyt trying to take Mario Andretti on the outside. The rich national championship at stake in this race today. Foyt trying hard to nose ahead of Andretti, but Andretti out-accelerates him down the pit straightaway. Turn 1. Over the bridge and into turn 2.
And here comes Clark into the pits. We'll see what his trouble is.
A tough break for the Scotsman who won the 1965 Indianapolis 500. He's got a lot of fans here in the United States. Rolf Alstedt, the owner, goes over to ask him, and now they're looking the car over.
He doesn't appear to be getting out, so perhaps it's something minor that they could fix.
Well, we certainly hope so. Checking the engine over. Of course, the smoke was an indication that the problem did come from within the engine. Clark looks a little disappointed. And there's Bill Fowler telling Dan Gurney he's got a 22-second lead over Roger McCluskey in 2nd place. And now Jim Clark is out of the car. We're going over to see if we can't get a word with him. Lots of action on that one lap. Jimmy, what all happened?
Well, we went into it as usual. There's a lot of oil around, and got to the end of the S's, and Dan went straight off before we got to turn 6 up the bank, and I got through all right in the lead, and as I came out of 6, I noticed the engine wasn't on 8, so I just had to keep on going anyway, and I was well clear of Dan by this time, but it wasn't running, you know. So I did one more lap and came in.
A wise decision, Chris. If he'd have stayed out there much longer, he'd have destroyed a $23,000 engine.
Well, Dan Gurney is leading and Roger McCluskey is 2nd, and those 2 battlers for the national championship, Mario Andretti and A.J. Foyt, 3rd and 4th. We'll be back for more of the exciting championship race action, but now let's go to Vienna, Austria, and Jim McKay. This is Chris Economaki, along with Roger Ward at the Riverside International Raceway in California, where the season's ending championship race is in progress. Roger, how do you like it?
Well, Rick, Chris, when I see those gentlemen out there going around, I wish I was out there with them.
Fine. And now let's check the standings. And the Eagles are doing well, holding 4 of the top 6 positions. Leading is Dan Gurney in car 48, the Olsenite Eagle. 2nd place in car number 12, the G.C. Murphy Eagle, Roger McCluskey, a good bit behind Gurney. And in 3rd and 4th places, the 2 drivers fighting for the national championship, and fighting they are. Mario Andretti in car number 1, a Brawner-built car, and A.J. Foyt in car number 14, the Sheraton Thompson Coyote. And what a race they're putting on. In 5th position, in the Tom Friedkin Eagle, number 78, it's sports car driver Jerry Grant. And in 6th place, in car number 6, the Rislone Eagle, it's Bobby Unser. And now Unser gets a run on Grant to try and move into the number 5 position, and move in he does, going into turn 9. Bobby likes that braking point on turn 9. He's had an interesting day out here, hasn't he, Roger?
He certainly had. He's been up and down, but after a somewhat shaky start, he's doing a really great job now and moving into contention. Another driver that's doing a great job is Lloyd Ruby in the American Red Ball Special, number 25. He got off to a rather poor start by spinning out, but he's moved back into contention.
Gurney's engine is one of his own designs, and he can be quite proud of its performance here. McCluskey's car is using a 4-cam Ford engine and trying to stay behind Gurney. Andretti now in 3rd place in the number 1 car. And here's Bobby Unser trying for a spot ahead of A.J. Foyt in that same place he likes to do his passing, and he gets by. So Bobby Unser moves past A.J. Foyt, moving him down in that battle for the championship. Unser's an experienced driver, many-time winner of Pikes Peak, drives on the sprint car circuit. Before the race, we had a chance to talk to him. What about the race today, Bobby? It's going to be an interesting one. What do you think the big problems that our fellows will face will be?
Well, I think the big problem is going to be finishing 300 miles. We just figured up, looks like we're going to be shifting around 1,200 times here, and that can't be too easy on the transmission and on the clutch and all in the car, so I think it'll be very hard on the cars. 300 miles on these things is pretty long way, especially when you're shifting.
And tough on the palms of your hands, eh, Roger?
It certainly is. Shifting that many times, a person could get a few blisters.
Whoa! And here's Lloyd Ruby dirt tracking it on the outside of a corner. He could use knobby tires there for a moment. He's really had his foot to the floor on this number 25 American Red Ball Special since that first lap spin. And what's that? A.J. Foyt! And look at that right rear wheel. Foyt. And here go his championship aspirations. A cloud of dust being a cloud of doom for the burly Texan seeking his 5th national championship.
And he looked like he's jumped out and running back to the pits in the hopes that he might get in one of those backup cars.
Is Al Miller wondering whether A.J. is going to come over and say something, and right past the service truck, and it's a long haul back to the pits. What a startling development here in this 300-mile race. A.J. Foyt looking for a 5th championship out of it, and now Roger McCluskey passes the leader, Dan Gurney. McCluskey's the new leader as Gurney dropped to 2nd in action going into turn number 9. Roger McCluskey, who started 7th, is now out in front by the slimmest of margins here. Gurney in 2nd place. McCluskey, the new leader, and we'll be back for more of this exciting National Championship Indianapolis car race after this message. Roger McCluskey, car number 12, the new leader of the Rex Mays 300, and Dan Gurney, number 48, a close 2nd. And now A.J. Foyt completes the nearly half-mile run from the crash scene to the pit area. And it's a double disappointment for A.J. For car number 4, the Jim Hurtubise Eagle is out of the race with mechanical trouble. What's he going to do, Roger?
Well, it's difficult to say, but there ought to be at least 3 automobiles available to him. Of course, Roger McCluskey and Bobby Unser, Jerry Grant are all members of the Goodyear team, and I would imagine that he could have any one of those automobiles.
Well, it's almost halfway, and the pit stops will be coming up shortly, so we'll soon see as this race keeps unfolding at high speed. Here's Foyt now talking to one of Jerry Grant's pit crew, and Mario Andretti's crew chief, Clint Warner, at the left, is an interested listener. And now that's Jack Beckley, Roger McCluskey's crew chief, being addressed by Foyt.
And here comes McCluskey into the pits, kind of slow for the leader.
I should think, and we'll see now whether Foyt gets the ride or not. He's the leading driver now, Roger McCluskey, car number 12. And he starts to get out of the car. He had his shoulder harness undone already, and Foyt about to go in. So a dramatic change here in the Rex Mays 300 with A.J. Foyt moving in place of Roger McCluskey, and Mario Andretti, the other challenger for the championship, right behind.
This is going to scramble those points again, but it's going to be a very interesting battle from here on, because actually A.J. can only get a percentage of the points won by this automobile.
It's going to take an actuary to figure out the championship battle here. And there goes Foyt on his way back into the race. Andretti, fueled up after his mid-race pit stop, heads for the track. And here are the standings. Dan Gurney, car number 48, the leader. Bobby Unser in car number 6, 2nd. And in 3rd place is now Jerry Grant in car 78. A.J. Foyt, driving for Roger McCluskey in car number 12, is 4th. And Mario Andretti in car number 1 is 5th. Here's Roger McCluskey now. Roger, congratulations. A very sporting gesture on your part. How was it out there?
It's
first lick. Pretty oily, Chris.
Think you'd have held on to win if you hadn't turned over to A.J.?
Well, you never know. You know, we were running fast enough to get to the front, so I think Dan must be having some trouble because I don't think I would have caught him otherwise.
And here's A.J. Foyt back in the pits. What's the matter, Roger?
Well, it looks as though the right fuel cap wasn't closed properly, and the fuel was probably coming out in his face.
Oh, it's a tough break for A.J. Foyt. He's only getting a percentage of the points this car wins, and this puts him even further back. And it looks like Mario Andretti has the luck here at Riverside today. So now the leader in car number 48, Dan Gurney, and that Gurney Westlake engined Eagle of his own design, setting up brisk pace in this 300-mile contest. An exciting race. In addition to John Cock Clark and Al Miller, others out of the race so far include John Surtees, the Briton, whose Lola went out with magneto trouble, and Lothar Mochenbacher, whose Chevrolet car out-qualified all the Alpes, went out with clutch trouble. And here's Gurney coming to the pits now for his refueling stop. And all eyes are on this pit crew.
Of course, this would make a big difference in whether or not he's able to get out in front of Mario or not, depending on whether he gets a fast pit stop.
Here comes Bobby Unser, about to take the lead unless Gurney beats him to the track. Unser crosses the line, and Gurney's still in the pits. So we have a new leader.
You'll notice car number 12 right in front of him. That additional time that A.J. lost in the pits has cost him a lot of ground.
And here's Gurney, burning rubber, getting back on the racetrack in second position. But remember, Unser hasn't stopped at the pits yet for fueling, and there's no way you can get through 300 miles without stopping for gas. So Dan Gurney back on the track in car 48 in second position now. Bobby Unser, the new leader of this 300-miler. And here's Unser in the pits now for his turn to fuel up. Judd Phillips and the Rizlone pit crew on the Bob Wilkie-owned car doing fine work as usual. Gurney flashes back into the lead, and things are as they were. What an automobile race.
It's certainly been exciting to this point. Now it depends on whether or not Mario can get around to get into second place before Bobby Unser gets out on the racetrack again.
And here's a signal for Mario Andretti. He's down 30 seconds on Dan Gurney.
And here's Bobby back to the track.
We'll be back with more action from this national championship race after this message. Coming off turn 9, Dan Gurney comes up behind George Ballmer, Jim Clark's teammate. Ballmer's doing very well since his early race spin out and has gained several positions. Gurney's only averaging 108.33 miles an hour, some 9 miles an hour slower than his qualifying speed. Roger, why is the race that slow?
Well, first of all, of course, I've made a couple of pit stops, which certainly take a lot of time. And then, too, with a full load of fuel, the cars would be running considerably slower than they might be.
Then, too, there's some oil on the track. Whoops, there's Joe Leonard into the turn 6 wall. And the yellow flag comes out. Behind Gurney now is Mario Andretti in car number 1 and Bobby Unser in car number 6. So the first serious accident of the race involves Joe Leonard, a former motorcycle champion. And his Bell's Ford Mongoose number 20, a rear-engine Ford, is in sorry shape against the wall there. Gurney slows down. He's just put a lap on Lloyd Ruby, and right behind there is Jerry Grant. Well, normally in road racing, the yellow flag prevails only at the point of the accident. But because of the serious nature of this accident in the service vehicles, the yellow flag appears all the way around, meaning no passing at all. So, while the track is being cleared, let's go now back to Vienna, Austria, and Jim McKay. The green flag comes out at Riverside, California. This is Chrissy Kanamaki with Roger Ward, the National Championship Indianapolis car race, which will decide the national championship. And Dan Gurney in car number 48 leads with Mario Andretti with a title in his eyes in second place in car number 1. Third place belongs to Bobby Unser in car number 6. Fourth, 1 lap behind, is now Lloyd Ruby in car 25, and A.J. Foyt driving his second car. The ex-Roger McCluskey machine is 5th. That's number 12. And here's Gurney flashing across the start-finish line, ticking off another lap of the 2.6-mile road circuit, but his car is slowing down, and Lloyd Ruby unlaps himself. Gurney is in trouble. A driver who has been plagued with bad racing luck throughout most of his career now is struck again by bad luck. And Andretti gains, too, as he closes to the front. Car after car now going by Gurney, and the pit crew, Wayne Leary and Richie Gittler, wonder, where is Dan? It doesn't look like it's too bad, does it, Roger? He's running fairly fast.
No, down the back straightaway, he's maintained pretty good speed, so I suspect the trouble isn't too serious.
There's A.J. Foyt going by the number 12 car, and Gurney obviously headed for the pits. What an automobile race this one has been. Had all the ingredients of a Hollywood scriptwriter's super spectacular. Now here's Gurney coming to the pits now. Number 48. The crew is waiting for him. He's signaling over his head. Apparently it's a tire.
Yes, I would say his right rear tire has gone flat, and the crew gets to work on it.
Oh boy, and now Mario Andretti in car number 1 heads for that number 1 position. And right behind him is Bobby Unser in car number 6. A fantastic automobile race this has been. Gurney smoking those rear tires back into the race. He's in 3rd place now. Andretti is the new leader. Unser is 2nd, and Gurney is 3rd, a good ways back. And there's Jerry Grant out of the race, standing by the side of the road, number 78. Tough break for Jerry, was running with the leaders. Here's Bobby Unser, the 2nd place driver now in car number 6, and it's a tight battle for the number 1 position. Gurney starts to pour the coal to number 48.
Actually, Chris, that was a very long pit stop. He was in the pits almost a minute, or perhaps even a little longer, so he has dropped way back, and he's got a long way to go.
And the stopwatches and the looks on the faces of the Gurney crew reflect their disappointment. Jim McGee, Mario Andretti's crewman, flashing the signal to him that Bobby Unser in car number 6 is only 3 seconds behind. Mario Andretti now is out in front, and this will win for him the 1967 National Championship, making it 3 straight for the little Italian driver from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Gurney is really moving out there. Everyone is watching and clocking Dan Gurney in the number 48 Olsenite Eagle. He's really pouring the coal on and knocking a couple of seconds a lap off the leaders. Here he's getting the signal from Bill Fowler. Before the race, we had a chance to talk to Dan about the engine in the car. What's different about the power plant, Dan?
Well, it's a single cam pushrod engine, just like an ordinary street engine. We do have fuel injection. We are using the same sort of bottom end, that is crankshaft and oil pumps and so forth, as the four-cam Indy Ford engine. A lot of the parts are interchangeable with their standard 302 engine like they use in the Fairlane, Mustang, Cougar, and so forth.
Where does it have its advantages on the course?
It seems to be a very, very lively engine. Now, it's not pulling tremendous maximum horsepower, but it seems to accelerate very well.
And accelerate he's doing right now. He's a poor 3rd behind Mario Andretti and Bobby Unser, but really moving, going faster than they are, considerably faster, about 2 seconds a lap. All eyes are on the lanky driver from Costa Mesa, California. He has a big following here in Southern California. Joe Leonard, incidentally, is okay after that crash, which prompted the slowdown. We'll be back for more of this exciting national championship race after this message. Mario Andretti in car number 1. Leading this 300-mile event, we're seeing 2 races in 1 here today, and Mario Andretti is winning them both. The battle for first place and the battle for the national championship. A close second is Bobby Unser in car number 6. 2 cars between Unser and the leader Andretti. And a deep 3rd is Dan Gurney in car number 48, burning up this 2.6-mile road circuit like it's never been burned up before. The fans are really cheering him on as he ticks the seconds off and closes on the leaders. It's been a spectacular and fantastic automobile race to close out the 1967 United States Automobile Club season, and the battle for the title between Mario Andretti and A.J. Foyt now looking like it belongs to Andretti, but no, he's stopping at the pits, an unscheduled stop with only moments left in the competition, and it's for fuel. Why fuel, Roger?
Because, Chris, on a road course with all that shifting, a car will use more fuel than on a racetrack.
And it was a quick stop, and Mario goes back into action. The excitement in the Dan Gurney pit is intense. The new leader, Bobby Unser, in car number 6. Dan Gurney now 2nd, and Mario Andretti back in 3rd place. The leader, Bobby Unser's brother Al, went out of the race not too long ago with mechanical troubles on his car, ruining a brother act. Here he is now, the leader, Bobby Unser of Albuquerque, New Mexico. 2nd place, Dan Gurney, and closing on Unser, and Andretti in a deep 3rd place after having to take fuel on in the closing moments of this 300-mile race. An unbelievable speed contest here to wrap up a long season for the Indianapolis car gentry. Bobby Unser, Dan Gurney, and Mario Andretti. Now, the championship, whether or not Andretti can win in third place, with Foyt now lying fifth, only getting a percentage of the points won by the car, remains to be seen. Here's Jerry Titus off the course in car number 11, but returning to the competition, and everything seems to be happening here late in the race. What a day, Roger?
It certainly is. And Chris, I figured it out that perhaps Mario cannot win the championship now if Foyt finishes in fifth position.
Boy, Bobby Unser a little bit hard on the brakes there. There's Dan Gurney right behind him. The pressure is really on Unser. He comes by the pits. Gurney is just a few lengths behind him and gaining all the way with very little racing remaining. Gurney may close up on Unser and take the lead. He's gaining on him going through turn 2, and they head into the S's.
There's another car off the track, Chris.
Oh, the drivers are getting frantic here. It's Ronnie Duman with a broken front suspension unit, skidding to a stop in turn 6 as the other cars go by. There's Gurney now just 2 car lengths behind Unser. They're coming up for the white flag at the end of this lap, and now Gurney is in a position to challenge for the lead. He's right behind Bobby Unser. Down now, downhill, and he switches from the left to the right. They're out of sight on top of the rise, and he's pulling alongside on the outside, Roger.
Boy, that's a difficult spot to do it.
And he didn't do it, and Bobby Unser hangs on to the number 1 position as they hit that long back straightaway where Unser's car has been showing great straightaway speed. Actually pulling away here from Gurney, but that little braking incident of last lap perhaps phased him, and now Gurney outbrakes him, goes underneath to take the lead as they come down for the white flag. 1 lap remaining in this race, and Andretti a hopeless third at this point. Unser now moved back to second place. The white flag should show this time as he goes past the start-finish line, and Dan Gurney, winner of 4 500-mile stock car races here, looks like he's on his way to his first national championship victory on the USAC circuit. Gurney moving beautifully in the number 48 Olsenite Eagle. Starts to pull away now from Unser. Unser second, Andretti third. Lloyd Ruby is fourth, a lap down, and A.J. Foyt is fifth in car number 12. Foyt's car is giving trouble, we understand.
He has slowed down considerably, and there's Lloyd Ruby back in the pits for additional fuel.
Apparently this use of the gears has cost plenty in fuel consumption today, and it's like tracking a missile watching Dan Gurney go down that long back straightaway. Into turn 9 now.
As he comes around this time, Chris, he'll get the checkered flag.
What a day for Dan Gurney. He learned to race here at the Riverside Raceway a decade or so ago, and the checkered flag comes down, and he has won this 300-mile national championship race by a close margin over Bobby Unser. In car number 6, there's Bill Fowler, Wayne Leary, and the rest of the All-American Racers crew. A happy bunch going to victory lane. And Dan Gurney waves to the crowd as he realizes he's won the race through the S's. A happy fellow in a car of his own design, using an engine of his own design. And we'll be back for a word with the winner after this message. Just a minute now. Put Mama in here. That's a girl. Okay. Dan, a big congratulations to you. It was probably one of the most thrilling races. Were you aware how it was going up front?
Pardon me? Yes, I could tell my pits were giving me signals, and I just went as fast as I could all the time, and it looked like it was enough.
Dan, did you have any trouble during the race? Off the road or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. When I was ahead of Jim, just before he passed me, I seemed to be locking up the front brakes, and I locked them up, and I got off at turn 6 a little bit. That's when Jim went by.
When your pit crew signaled you that P1, was it a surprise?
Well, yeah, okay.
Most of that's lipstick.
I could see, I saw Mario go in the pits, and I saw Bobby right ahead, so that didn't leave much left.
Well, it's been your great track here at Riverside Raceway. Congratulations and continued good luck to you, Dan Gurney.
Thank you, Chris.
And the point story is that A.J. Foyt wins over Mario Andretti by 80 points. His unprecedented 5th national championship, and a disappointed Mario Andretti. third place and second in the standings. Not good enough. Here's A.J. Why did you have to change cars, A.J.?
Well, my car was performing beautiful, and Al Miller spun as I was lapping him, and I went off the course to avoid him, and he still hit me out there in the dirt, and it's just one of them misfortune things.
Was the car damaged badly?
I didn't even waste no time looking. I know it tore the right rear wheel off, and I just started running back to the pits to get my other car, and it was out. So McCluskey, which drives for Lindsey Hodgkins, before the race told me in case I needed his car that I could use it, and at the time I got in, he was leading the race. So I owe all the championship to, actually, Roger McCluskey.
A great sporting gesture, don't you think?
Sure is. We've been friends for many years, and I'd done the same thing for him. I think that's the reason he did it for me.
Gurney the winner, and with it, $31,025. Bobby Unser second, Mario Andretti third, Lloyd Ruby fourth, and A.J. Foyt and Roger McCluskey fifth. Well, it's all over, Roger. Have you ever seen a drive like the one Dan Gurney put on?
I certainly never have. The boy just did a tremendous job, and of course, coming from that far back, it's just a fantastic effort.
It's said that he owns this place, and I think today he proved it.
I believe he's right.
And A.J. Foyt wins an unprecedented fifth national championship. You've won that title a few times, Roger. It's not easy, is it?
It certainly isn't, and of course, today it was particularly difficult for A.J. because his number one automobile dropped out, his backup automobile had problems, and he finally was able to get into another automobile and get enough points to win the championship.
An ending to the Mays 300 and an ending to the 1967 racing season.